Good morning, Facebook and Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond sisters. Yay! So today we are on our third day into 5 steps in 5 days. And we spoke about acceptance on day one. We spoke about surrendering as a strength on day two. And today, let's see if I could get my camera here better. Give me 1 second. Today, we're going to be talking about divine guidance and how to utilize that and how you can use that to the best of your ability. So, just a quick introduction. Hello, Diane. Good morning. This is Donna's Coffee Chat. So glad you're here. I feel like I should be serving up some coffee to everybody. I have an espresso machine. I'm happy to make a cup of coffee for you. And by the way, guys, an espresso, you got to get it. It's a game changer, especially when it comes with a frother. I'm becoming my own barista. It's quite funny. Well, anyway, um, we're talking about divine guidance, and I'm Donna Rudowitz. I am a licensed clinical social worker and a rapid transformational coach, and I help women who are affected by divorce reclaim their brilliance, fall in love with themselves, and be ready to attract an ideal soulmate when he comes. And the work I do is quite different than therapy. The work I do, it's called rapid transformational. So we get results in 12 weeks. And it's not uncommon for my clients to tell me that had been in therapy 10, 20 years and they got results in weeks versus years. And that's because therapy is an old model. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a therapist. I love therapy. I still have private therapy clients, very few of them, but I still have a couple of them. But here's the reason why therapy is the old model. Therapy is the old model because we don't go in, really therapy looks at the past where coaching looks at our future. And when you're in the divorce arena, there's a certain time that therapy is beneficial to you because it helps you focus and it helps you process. But we do come to a point where we really need to look at our future. We need to focus on where we're going and what it is we want. And that's where coaching comes in because we're outcome driven versus pain driven. Right, we're focused on your outcome. And that brings us into today's step of divine guidance is when your heart has been broken, and now you could be one day into a divorce, or you could be 25 years post-divorce, or you could be in a relationship that's fractured. You don't even have to have been married to experience this soul fracture or this heart fracture. But when your heart is fractured, it tends to put us in a place of feeling separate, right? Hi, Diane again. How's it going? We tend to feel as if we are separate and that maybe our relationship with source or God. Now, some of us could actually run towards that because it could feel like this is what we need. We need a connection with our divine guidance. And some of us may feel so disconnected. But here's the reason why. So when you have a soul fracture and your heart has been broken, you're likely going to be operating in what I call fight or flight mode, right? And so that's where your brain is just focusing on survival, right? It's been hurt, there's been an effect to it, and again, it could be one day post divorce, or it could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years post divorce. But you could be operating in a fight or flight mode, and when we're operating in fight or flight mode, our brain's only job is to focus on survival. So here's how you know, and this is where I'm going to give you some tips and tools and tricks here. Here's how you're going to know if you're operating in survival. Number one, you're going to feel a sense of anxiousness, right? There's going to be a disrest in your system. Number two, you're going to always be scanning the environment for what's wrong or where there's a threat or where, I'm going to put my sunglasses on, guys, because it's getting a little bright for me, but where there's a threat, right? So you're always going to scan that environment. Number three is that you're not going to be able to see your future. So if someone says to you, hey Donna, what do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want? Now that you're in this new landscape, what do you want? And if you have difficulty where you're saying to yourself, I have no idea. Gosh, I don't even know. I want you to know that you're normal. Congratulations. You're a healthy human being. But those are all indicators and signs that you're operating in fight or flight mode, and then you're not operating in what I call the parasympathetic mode. And that's where your brain is at rest and it's at peace, and where you're able to tap into the creative center and the creative core and tap into your divine guidance. So when we're operating in fight or flight, studies have shown this, and this is just not me speaking woo-woo stuff, this is scientifically proven, that we do get what I call pinched off, or we feel like we're pinched off from the divine, that we don't feel connected, we can't quite see things, we have difficulty clarifying our future, we really are unclear about what we want, we're looking at the environment for everything that's wrong, right? We're looking at what we don't have, we're looking at what the loss was, and we're looking at that gaping hole of what was lost, and we're looking at the identity that we once were. And when we're in a parasympathetic mode, when our brain is at as a peace mode, this is when we're divinely connected. And this is where we get the miracles and the synchronicities. This is where you'll get that idea to go to the supermarket, to go pick up something. And this is where you're going to run into your soulmate, because you never would have went there if you didn't have this divine guidance, right? This is also where you're going to be gifted just ideas and clarity and I just have to say this. There was a hawk. There was a beautiful hawk that just landed, which I believe is a sign. So birds are a good sign for us guys. And it was an amazing, beautiful bird. I wish you could have seen it. The wingspan was incredible. This creature was gorgeous. So anyway, going back to divine guidance, when we're in a more relaxed brain state, we're able to tap into our divine self. We're able to become quiet, our nervous system becomes relaxed, and we're able to hear and see where our spirit and our soul's guidance is leading us. And so if you feel stuck, and going back to whether you're one day out of a divorce or separation or you're 15 to 20 years, it doesn't matter. If you feel stuck, that's an indicator that you still have a soul fracture. It's also an indicator that you're operating from past patterns, behaviors, and beliefs that no longer serve you. See, this is where we as women get ourselves in trouble. We get ourselves in trouble because we like control. We like to manage our environment. We like to know when things are happening. And if you think about even just the society today, back 20, 30, 40 years ago, there was no such thing as a scheduled cesarean section. When your water broke or you went into contractions, that's when you went into the hospital and you had the baby. Now, there's a scheduled cesarean, and I have no judgment on it, so please don't think I'm saying this out of judgment. It has no judgment. It's just an example. But cesarean sections are now more than popular. Matter of fact, they're almost the norm, because the doctor gets to schedule when he or she is going to be delivering the baby. You get to schedule it and know what date and time. And so, it goes to the element that we as women love control. And there's places that we can have control. We can have control over how we respond to things. We may have control over how we clean our home or, at work. But when it comes to love and life, and when it comes to this particular part of your journey, control is the exact opposite of where we want to be. Because if you look at where you've come from and you use the same tools and you try to control your outcome of tomorrow, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to end up disappointed, and you're going to end up with expectations that haven't been met, because you cannot control this area of your life. As a matter of fact, the most successful, and the way you're going to attract your soulmate and the way you're going to heal your soul fracture is actually surrendering into the flow and tapping into your divine guidance. And the way that we do that is we have to quiet the brain. We also have to give ourselves permission and know that surrendering control doesn't mean we're not intelligent or we don't have the smarts or we can't figure things out. This part of your life, recreating your life after divorce, needs to be done by the big guy, big girl, upstairs. That when we get in the way of our own life, and we try to manage and control. We identify what we want, and then we go in and be the manager and trying to control how we're going to get it or where it's going to be coming from. Like, for instance, I want a good relationship. I want to be in a marriage. So, you go talk to your friend Sally, and Sally says, "Why don't we join a class at Home Depot? That's where all the guys are. Or let's join a golf league. That's where all the guys are." You're doing way too much work. And this is also very important to remember. You're putting the cart before the horse. Because if you haven't healed your soul fracture and you haven't ripped out those subconscious belief systems that you've been carrying with you from your old relationship and perhaps for years prior to that, and you bring it to a new relationship, the chances of this new relationship surviving are grim. I think statistics say I think second marriages are 75% chance of failure rate. That's not a Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond. We want our second relationship, or even third or fourth, depending where you're at, we want our next relationship to be a 100% success rate. So we can't use the same tools and expect a different result. We've got to use a different set of tools. We've got to go in and do it differently than we've ever done before. And that's where we go in and we look at your subconscious thoughts, patterns, beliefs, where we take out the old ones that don't matter or don't really serve us anymore, and we replace them with new ones. And organically, as you get rid of what doesn't serve you, you're actually healing your soul fracture, and we're healing from the inside out. And organically, your body is going to go into relaxation mode, and organically, you're going to be able to tap into your soul's guidance. And organically, you're going to start feeling inspired and feeling hopeful and feeling peaceful and having this joy of life. Because if we're stuck on the problem and we're stuck trying to figure it out and we're stuck looking at what we don't have, guess what we're going to get? You're going to get more of that. There's a saying that says, what you think about is what you bring about. So, for instance, if let's say you want to bring more income into your life, but what you keep saying to yourself is, "I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be broke. I don't want to be broke." Guess what? Guess what you're going to be? You're going to be dead broke, because that's what you're